I think that there is nuggets of greatness inside
nuggets
of it.
in
I
it.
think that they're nuggets already.
Welcome to Kyle and Dave versus the Machine. This is the video edition.
Sparkles.
Today we are going to talk about the summer of 42. Summer of apostrophe 42. Kyle, lay it on me.
Yes.
Daddy-o.
Well, we've recorded our full episode here already, and I am a little bit more positive on this movie than what you are. I think that there is, wrapped up in like all the problematic stuff that this movie has, nuggets of greatness inside of it. I think that they're nuggets already. I think that there is some great filmmaking talent on display here. My huge criticism is I actually think the story starts in the wrong spot. We get all this kind of like build up, yearning, kid stuff on the island, when I think that the more important and interesting approach to this is what happens at the end of this movie, and I'm trying to be as oblique as possible. What happens at the end of this movie? Okay, fine. The relationship of this older woman and this young kid, this teenager, and the fallout from that. That event happens, and it's such a huge and momentous thing. Feels like a huge and momentous thing, and then the movie kind of just ends right after that. And I know that this is based on like a true story of this author's past, but it felt like they were focused on not the, I don't even want to say correct bits. It just wasn't focused on, I think, what would have made a better film out of the source material. But like I said, I think that there is some moments, some scenes that I find hilarious. There are some scenes that I think show some great filmmaking, and then it's like, it doesn't quite stick that landing for me.
Yeah, it didn't stick a landing for me. Honestly, Kyle, I'm having trouble remembering.
You're forgetting about it?
Yeah. So here's what I remember. There are 3 kids who are summering in, is it Nantucket?
Yes. Where that gentleman is also from. You know the guy.
So I've already lost interest in the film. And then one of the boys isn't really in it except to supply an encyclopedic.
It's a medical journal. It's literally
anatomical
a medical
reference.
You can see probably a vagina
or like a
inside
uterus,
of it. That's what they're
right?
looking at.
They always have the uterus. And then the boys are annoying. The main guy's fine. I mean, I guess. Right?
I think he's fine. I think he's fine. Like, I don't think he's awful.
Yeah, and then we get through this semi-autobiographical account of, what are they, 14? 12? I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
I think they're supposed to be 14, 15. I think canonically inside the movie. So
sexual awakening, we're starting to see this theme too. Never mind the pedophilia / milfing. It's like people trying to discover what it means to have sex, and we'll see if that theme continues. So these boys, as classic teenagers, have one thing on their mind, which is to get it, to smush it. And the one kid, the protagonist, has this psychological love affair with this incredibly beautiful woman who's just
very one-sided, very one-sided.
And then I don't know, it's just kind of slow. It's very small town white.
It is. It's slow.
They're literally showing
meanders.
like them flicking rubber bands in their mouth.
The years before you could do like even watch TV, it's just like, oh my god, like there was nothing to do. I just want to underscore, like there is that moment based on a true-ish story of him finally going there one night.
The climax.
He discovers that her husband has been killed in World War II. She's been drinking. They embrace and they do this dance because the record is still playing on the record player. Again, I think that scene is beautiful. It's well shot. I think it says everything you need about the movie. And had the movie actually ended there, I would have given it so much more kudos. We know all we need to know about this if it ended there. Goes on and it's like, well, we never actually say that they have sex, but like
they're like in bed.
That's really like the intention. That's the intention with how you film this scene
or wrote it.
But then I just feel like there would be some sort of fallout from that. He never sees her again. She kind of goes away right after that. And I just know that had I been 15 years old, had a relationship with an older woman, and then she just left, that kind of would have messed with my head just a little bit. And I feel like there needs to be some sort of catharsis resources for the audience to grab onto, rather than just being that. I also have a little bit of issue about everyone has their summer of 42. Everyone's gone through this. I don't think that's true, A. And I don't think this is as romantic as what you're thinking this is. This is kind of a traumatic experience for a kid. So anyways, I think just the framing of this movie is a little bit off.
Yeah, I can't remember if we get into too much detail, but we do have this problem, this patriarchal, male chauvinistic problem of the male gaze. So we have this beautiful woman, and she's objectified. And then we read that apparently this is supposed to be told from her perspective. And she's just this beautiful window dressing. I mean, she does get to cry and have a moment of acting, which is great. But it's really a story of this boy that, wins almost. It's really weird at the end.
Yes, I know. The ending is just really odd. Another little positive I will say, and Dave doesn't agree with me, I love the scene where he's trying to buy condoms.
It is funny.
How about some rubbers? I understand that you carry them.
Carry what?
Oh, come on, you know what?
Which is your usual?
The blue ones.
How many would you like?
Let's see, 3 dozen.
You planning a big night?
Just the usual.
It's funny, and yes, probably other places have done it better and before this. It still worked for me, still thought it was funny. The whole scene worked for me. That tells you a lot about what I find humorous.
You're so soft, you're flaccid now, I won't do that.
You're talking to the guy who the first time I bought condoms, I had to do it on Amazon because I could not do it in person. I just could not
We do
face
talk
it.
about that first condom purchase is nerve-wracking. It's
Big deal.
embarrassing. You would think that in a culture where you're supposed to celebrate that you're going to get it, that you would go up and just slap down a box of condoms and be like, yeah, fucking right.
So
and
here's the
that's
thing.
Not how it works.
I did not say this in the full review on the podcast, but I worked at 7-Eleven as a night shift, and there are literally two types of people who buy condoms. There is the type of person who basically comes in and is like, yep, buying condoms. And that's the only thing they purchase. And then there's the person who's like getting a newspaper and some milk and this stuff. It's like, oh, I guess I'm getting this too. Like he has to buy other stuff to surround the fact that he's actually buying
that
condoms.
guy.
Even though I have milk. I know you have milk at home, Randy. You bought it yesterday. You didn't go through a whole 4 liters by yourself.
That's what happens when you work at the 7-Eleven in Rocky Mountain House. You actually know everybody. So the one guy just came in, he's like, I'm going to tell Kyle that I'm having sex. Boom.
That's right.
Magnums.
Sex with a woman.
We are learning that I have a bias for this era, so maybe I'm just not entertained by the films of the 70s.
I don't know.
This thing's boring.
It's not a great movie. I'm never going to make that claim. I just think that there's a couple of elements that raise it above being like one of the absolute worst films that we've seen in 1971.
$1 Million Duck lowered the bar so low. Yeah,
Maybe.
I think we're gonna give everything. My aggregate score is about to get a boost. Yeah,
Go up a little bit.
$1
right.
Million Duck.
There you go.
The gift that keeps on giving.
That couple should have had condoms. Let's put that out there. They should not reproduce.
How about some rubbers?
Contraceptives.
Yeah, right.
What for?
Come on, you know what for.